All right, happy Wednesday night, everybody. Welcome on into the Hat Creek Interior Studios here in Raiderland. It is time for the daily broadcast, and we got so many things to get to tonight. I hope we can get to everything. If we can't, we'll come back tomorrow. We'll do it again. We'll just keep doing shows as long as it takes to get to everything we want to get to. So tonight we're going to have Texas Tech basketball coming up at the top of the hour against Colorado here in Lubbock. That was the game that Tech had to hang on for dear life in Boulder. Will it be a rocking chair win tonight with the depth improved and Texas Tech probably a better team than they were a couple of weeks ago? Or is it going to be another nail biter where Texas Tech with the limited, still I would say a limited bench that they hang on and just try to squeeze the life out of the opponent late? You tell us on that one tonight. Lady Raiders win their 23rd win of the season last night. Krista Gerlich gets to 100 career wins at Texas Tech as the head coach. By the way, that's one less than the number of games she won as a player in route to a national championship her senior year in 1993. So we got Lady Raiders to talk about. And then Texas Tech, Don Williams was down in Midland last night, Kirby Hocutt speaking, and there was breaking news. And it appears Texas Tech has decided that college baseball still matters and changes are coming. We'll explain tonight on the daily broadcast. We want to hear from you on the United Supermarkets chat line. So whether you are on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media, whether you're on our YouTube channel, and we're this close to going over 700, we want 1,000 by the end of the month. We want 1,000 subscribers. Get out on YouTube. Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland, free, don't cost nothing. Hit like, subscribe, and all that. And then all the great people on Facebook. We're glad you're with us there for Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. So get on that United Supermarkets chat line, the supermarket that cares about tech in West Texas, as opposed to the one that comes in here, takes your money, sends it down south, and puts your money on things that maybe you wouldn't want your money on. In three, in two. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt. TheRaiderland.com, the website, the main site. You start your day there every day. We got the cool Raiderland hot links brought to you by who? Jackson Brothers Meat Locker, Post, Texas. They handle all of your meat processing. They don't just stop there. Why would they? They sell great meat. They sell great pork, cheeses, yes, world famous jerky. You can go down to the store, tell them we sent you, tell them thanks for being a part of Raiderland. Get online for Jackson Brothers Meat Locker, and they'll ship to you. Pretty cool stuff. Make sure you got some Jackson Brothers meat. It's a little. You're probably gonna have to drive down there now to get it, or over there or up there from wherever you are for Valentine's. But nothing says I love you, babe, like a great steak. All right. Also brought to you by Shropshire Insurance of Texas. We do What If Wednesdays on the website. Today it was what if in 1969 Texas Tech became Texas State University instead of Texas Technological College, and then they dropped the technological, just called it Tech. That's it, Texas Tech. No period, no any. What if it become TSU, which some people wanted back then? How weird would that have been? You'll never ask what if, though, if you have Shropshire Insurance on your side when it comes to your insurance coverage. Give Jeff Shropshire a holler. All right, let's get it going. The talking box is on. Craig is an OG. He's one of the original ones back in the Periscope days. Indeed, the talking box is on tonight for a little basketball. Your thoughts there? Lady Raiders wins. Baseball. So here's the deal real quick on that. Kirby Hocutt announcing that Texas Tech is now going to fully fund baseball and some of the other non-rev sports. Baseball, 11.7 equivalency sport. The last 2 years, they've held it at that. Next year, it will go to I think it's 31. I'll have to double check. It's either 31 or 34. Anyways, the roster's capped, but you can have an additional, almost 3 times what Tech is offering. And that's why Texas Tech has been getting killed the last year or so in some recruiting battles, is that all the top powers, all the big players in college baseball, the teams that go to Omaha, out of the SEC and other places, they're fully funding it. Tech wasn't. We can discuss maybe some why and what it took to get to this point as we go through tonight. And bonus stuff, if you want to, Daytona 500 qualifying tonight, at least for the duels. It'll set up, how the duels are going to run, and then that'll set up the field. And where were you tonight in 1990? Where were you in 1990? Tonight. Because this was the night Buster Douglas knocks out Mike Tyson. All right, I can remember exactly where I was, where we went that night, everything about it for various and sundry reasons. So let's get it going. Get it on the United chat line. What do you think is going to happen tonight? Texas Tech basketball. You certainly don't want to see it come down to a possession game late like it did in Boulder after getting up 24 points at one point in that game. It goes down to the wire as Texas Tech saw that lead just slowly erode, foul trouble as the night went on in the second half. And again, you didn't have a Luke Bamboya at that time. You didn't have Mosley. You weren't getting a ton of minutes out of really anybody other than about 6 guys at that point. Now at least 7 or 8 you feel like you can throw out there tonight. Is this an important game for Texas Tech? Yes. Because you can't give anything away. You're still on the 4 line. HoopsHD.com still has you on the 4 line on the nitty-gritty rankings. And then Dave Allman at Brackville.wordpress.com still has you as a 4 seed this week in the East region. And I get it, because here's the problem. You're not going to go west if Arizona has the one out there, most likely. That they're probably not going to send you there. So if you're not a top 1, 2, 3 seed in the Big 12 right now, and Tech's not, you end up having to go somewhere else away from some of those teams so they can try to at least avoid on principle some conference matchups. So you end up in the East with Duke, which to me, okay, that's not so bad, right? That if I told you were the 4 seed today, and we talked about this earlier, if I told you that you were a 4 seed, would you take the deal right now? 4 seed in the East, Duke is the 1 seed. Or would you play it out? Would you see what happens tonight? Arizona, Arizona State, Kansas State, Cincinnati. Cincinnati still a basketball team? We still got that going on? And then you still got a BYU game in TCU. I don't think you can play to above a 3. And of course, 3 gets you away from the 1 a little earlier in the second weekend. How much does it matter to you right now? Or I just told you right now, hey, you're guaranteed the 4th seed in the East. What would you take and why? You tell us tonight that. You tell us what you think this game's going to be tonight. I would love to see a little load management going into that Arizona swing trip tonight, that if you could get up, if you can get JT Toppin off the floor for a little while, if you can get Christian Anderson, a little bit of rest, if Bamboya can go from about 12 minutes to 20 minutes, yeah, I think that would be ideal tonight. Because you'll play tonight, you'll work out tomorrow, you get on a plane Friday, and you'll play Saturday at Arizona, and then you'll stay out there for the Arizona State game. And obviously you're catching Arizona at a time where they probably are in just an incredibly good mood. They're just in a wonderful mood after getting beat at Kansas and are ready to see Texas Tech come to town. Craig jumps back in on Facebook. You can get in on Facebook, Ryan Knights Raiderland. On our YouTube channel, you can comment, fire away your questions, your thoughts, everything else from there, Ryan Knights Raiderland, and of course, Twitter X at Ryan Knight Media. On this night in 1990, I was a 6th grader. That's voice sounded like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Like, zoinks, man, we're not going out to watch the fight. Yeah, I was a sophomore at Texas Tech that night. Now, the fight, I guess you could have watched it maybe on HBO or something. We didn't have that in the dorms. But right before we were going out, it was like 10:30. And we got the news on, and there's the guy doing the weekend sports. And in Tokyo, Buster Douglas has knocked out Mike Tyson. There was like one picture, no video, no nothing. And we'll see you tomorrow, kind of the kicker on the sportscast. So, yeah, that was Coleman Hall in the dorms getting ready to go out. We'll tell you where we went out here in just a little bit. And by the way, this whole thing, the Buster Douglas-Mike Tyson fight on this night in 1990, has a whole tie-in that comes back around to Texas Tech football. that some of you may know what I'm referencing. Most of you probably don't. JC Double T on YouTube. Related to seeding right now, how many Big 12 Sweet 16 teams are there? Well, let's go to the graphics, shall we? Nitty gritty seed lines, hoopshd.com. Arizona on the 1 line. Houston on the 1 line. Iowa State on the 2 line. Kansas on the 2 line. Texas Tech on the 4 line. So you would say out of that, there's your 16 Sweet 16 teams that you'd say, all right, based on that, that's who you could go with. BYU could obviously play to a Sweet 16 round. They're on the 6 line right now, and then who's next out of the Big 12 as we get into that 8-9 territory? All right, so Central Florida at an 8, and they're going to be a tough out. They're sitting on that 8-9, but Central Florida, somebody's going to hate playing them in the first or second round. So there are your potential Sweet 16 teams out of this right now. That's a bunch. You know, you can sit there and say, is it a top-heavy league? I don't know that I would call it a top-heavy league, but it's a hell of a league. Texas Tech tonight, what do you guys think is going to happen? Rocking Chair Win, yes or no? I would love to see Texas Tech just have an easy night. This team needs an easy night. Get up early, pound away, and close out a game. Maybe they need to learn how to do that too. They did it against Houston, don't get me wrong. It's not like they haven't done it this year. But take an average to a below average team and don't let them hang around. Don't let them do stuff like that. Later Raiders win last night. They're a lock in the NCAA tournament now. It's just a matter of can you get a top 4 seed or not, I think, at this point for this team. And then Texas Tech baseball, and not just baseball, but other non-revenue sports, Olympic sports, track, you name it, that Don Roy is reporting. Kirby Hocutt saying that starting next year, it's going to be fully funded. A little too late for this team, maybe at Texas Tech in baseball. Track is a different animal for a lot of different reasons. From the NIL to just the function of economics in track and field, that it hasn't been as pernicious for Wes Kitley's program not elevating the number of scholarships you were giving out as it has been for some others. Mainly because really nobody else is doing it. Oregon, maybe, but very few schools around the country, great track schools, great track programs, national champion contenders, were really doing anything different. So Texas Tech wasn't getting any hammered there the way it's been getting hammered in baseball. Texas Tech had a choice to make in college baseball. Either fully fund the scholarships or just punt the program. Get out. Tell Tim Tadlock, thanks. We enjoyed the great 10-year run from 2014 to 2023. 4 College World Series appearances, Big 12 titles, all that was great. Yeah, we're just not going to play it anymore. Because if you didn't match the scholarships, let alone the NIL, those are 2 different things. Wasn't going to happen. So by doing this, and I think investing what they've done, certainly with Steve Foster and with what's going on the pitching side, I feel like economically Texas Tech is moving back in the direction of trying to be elite again in college baseball. We'll see. We'll see what happens from here. Robert, I was getting ready to graduate high school at Borger on June 1st, 1990. Well, I'm talking about tonight. It had nothing to do with June 1st. Pay attention. Goodness gracious. Can't keep up with you people. Got to pay attention. Yeah, so this night, 1990, Buster Douglas knocks out Tyson. We see the headlines as we're getting ready to go out. And we were going to we were leaving Coleman Hall to go out clubbing, doing a little clubbing. Now, Depending, I can't remember right now in 1990 what the actual name of the club was, whether it was either the Basement or the Virgin Club. That's right, I said the Virgin Club. It was over there by the White Pig on 4th. It's been destroyed, all that area, when the Marcia Sharp Freeway came through. But, it was just a little dance place, Play the dance music, go there. They had great promotions, by the way. I also DJ'd there for a little while with KTXT FM. We do some Saturday night remote broadcasts there. And yeah, that's right. I'm your DJ, Master Flash. But they had great promotions like any drink, any coin. So my roommate would just like get a saran wrap full of loose change, set it on the table, drop it down in front of the waitress, drinks until that's gone. The drink rules and regulations, TABC, in the early 90s, virtually non-existent for happy hours. Beautiful time to be alive. So it was either the Basement or the Virgin Club that we went to that night. Now, bringing the whole story together and why this matters to Texas Tech fans. So Buster Douglas, a native of Columbus, Ohio, what little school is from Columbus, Ohio? That would be right. The Ohio State University. Fast forward. Football, 1990 season opener. Spike Dykes and the Red Raiders at Ohio State taking on Robert Smith, running back. Before the game, the Ohio State band, the legendary Ohio State band, they come on the field and they spell out the script Ohio State, and they have the tradition of a celebrity, of somebody doing what they call dotting the I. And the celebrity comes out. They leave the I in Ohio blank. There's no band member there. And the celebrity comes out and stands there and they dot the I. Texas Tech, Ohio State, Buster Douglas dots the I that afternoon there at the Horseshoe. Now, of course, the reports were that people had to show him, which one was the I. Help him out with a little spelling there, but I don't know that that's true. That sounds like it can't be true, right? Surely that's not true. So yeah, Buster Douglas is the one who dots the I against Texas Tech. What was it? 17-10 final. Big score was a punt return for a touchdown by Ohio State. A great defensive struggle for the Red Raiders. If my man Ben Kirkpatrick is watching tonight, he'll know. He'll remember. I think it was 17-10 though. JC Double T, my buddy lived in the UP University Plaza. For those who don't know, they had it on. They had it on Pavement, HBO, whatever it was. It was Virgin Club then, and yes, an Indiana Villager as well. Yeah, I was an Indiana Villager after my time there in Coleman Hall, Indiana Village. Great apartments back then. Yeah. So they had it must be it had to be on a pay-per-view or HBO or something like that. And we weren't springing for that. We were fine watching the 3 channels we got or whatever we got on the TV there in the dorm room. Pardon me. Robert Delgado, we have Coleman Hall in common. Very good. All right, how bad is this? I can't remember exactly which floor I lived on now. I think it was 608, but it could have been 508. I'm sure there's something I can go back and find like that would have some sort of documentation on that. But I'm almost certain it was like 08. But I can't remember whether it was 608 or 508. Now I don't even know if the floor I was on, because now in Coleman Hall, like boys on one floor, girls on the next, boys on one floor, girls on the next. We're just stacking them up. We had to go over to Chitwood at Mazzio's Pizza. See the girls come down and eat pizza every night in their pajamas. And we did. That was cool stuff too, man. That was big, high-flying living back then. That you had a Mazzio's Pizza on campus right there next to your dorm. That was life-changing. So yeah, Buster Douglas, where were you this night, 1990? We got Texas Tech basketball. If you want to get your thoughts in, what do you think they do tonight? And I'm pretty cool right now that I think I'd make the deal as we sit here with 1, 2, 3 full weeks of the regular season left. If you guaranteed me no worse than a 4 seed, and no better than a 4 seed, I think I'd live with that. I really do. I know there's opportunity to move up, but if Monty Hall's out there asking, with this team and the depth and everything else, okay. Because there's still some trepidatious moments left in this schedule. As we mentioned, Iowa State, BYU still out there lurking, TCU, never easy. And we could talk about the Daytona 500 tonight. We could talk about qualifying tonight, single car qualifying tonight. The duels are tomorrow. We could discuss that, but I just don't feel like anybody cares about NASCAR anymore. And I'm trying my best to get excited back into it, really feel good about the racing. And, they were in some great promos over the last week or so. The Hell Yeah NASCAR promo, and looking like they're trying to address their core consumer again, but I don't know. The racing's just been so bad the last 3, 4, 5 years, maybe even going farther back than that. The dynamics of the car, mechanical grit versus aero, all sorts of aspects on that. Just it's not fun to watch. I want to care. NASCAR, I want to be a fan. I truly do. NASCAR, I'm talking to you right now. I want to be a fan. I want to be a hardcore fan again. I want to be able to tell you as many drivers today that I can name by looking at a car number and everything else, versus that you can show me a car list from 2008, 2002, and I know all those guys. But today I don't know. Help me out, NASCAR. Do something. Make me care. I mean, you guys knew that Buster Douglas dotted the I against Tech. Yeah. When Tech went back in the early 2000s, what was that, 02? They went up there. That was the running back who ended up like in jail and stuff. What was that cat's name? My gosh, he ran for like 300 yards. I just blanked out on that dude's name. Maurice Claret. Yeah, that was the year that the entire season, when they would be talking about Maurice Claret and his Heisman Trophy chances and everything else, they just show highlights of the Texas Tech game. Painful to watch. I don't remember who dotted the I on that one. The fact that we can still remember, though, Buster Douglas doing it, power to it. So if you remember that night, if you watched the fight, if you remember where you were, you can chime in before we get out of here. Basketball on our minds as well. The Lady Raiders, I think they can get to a top 4 seed. I think they can get there. I hope they can. That would be awesome. That'd be great for this community, great for this program. But just knowing that they're back in the NCAA tournament, not trying to be condescending at all, or don't take it this way, but just knowing that they're going to be back in the NCAA tournament, that Krista Gerlich can check that box off, and that players, recruits can see, yeah, okay, great facilities, all that stuff, yeah, and they're winning, okay, and they can get to the NCAA tournament. I think that still matters on women's basketball. I hope so. That I think team achievements, I think winning things still matters, as opposed to maybe college basketball and certain players at Kansas that, just can't be bothered to play more than 15 minutes a game. I really think on the women's side that's still going to matter for a while. I hope so anyways. Robert, I kicked there the first year it was co-ed. Room 409. Kicked. I hope you meant lived there. The first year was co-ed. What year did it go co-ed, by the way? We're still talking about Coleman Hall, right here. When did it go co-ed? Like in the 2000s, I assume? Somewhere in through there? I know it wasn't that way in the 80s, by God. We had to go hunt our women down. Wasn't easy. They were hard to find. And wearing bulky clothes. You didn't even know what they looked like. You could date a girl back in the 80s, and for like 3 or 4 dates, you got no idea exactly what you're dealing with there because of the clothes. True stories. All right. We're going to wrap it up tonight. We got to get ready for Texas Tech basketball. You guys can share this on your social media feeds. We will have tomorrow the overrated, underrated, and rated right Thursday topic for you. I hope we're also dealing with a little rain tomorrow night into Friday around here in West Texas. Lord knows we need it. We will have Texas Tech softball to look at tomorrow. That'll be going on. So they tee off. First pitch is at 11 against Florida State tomorrow. I believe it's on ESPN2. And stay with us on social media or anything. We may have something cool to talk about tomorrow regarding that game here in the Hubaplex. So be with us there. And then just baseball on Friday. Going to be a great week. Looking forward to everything. Let's see. Before we get out here, JTB lived in Coleman Hall at the same time. Were you an RA? No, I was not an RA. I was not an RA whatsoever. I was the guy who tried to confuse the RA into thinking that big 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola was Coca-Cola. No, not RA. Can't remember my RA's name there in Coleman that year, other than he was really nice. He had blonde hair, and I think his first name was Eric, maybe, but don't quote me on that. But I know we had one. Yeah. Nice guys. You know how hard it is to get a party ball into Coleman Hall? Not really hard back in the day. Lived in Coleman at the same time. Cool, man. Like I said, I can't even remember exactly which floor I was on, either 608 or 508. My brain now, I'm leaning to 508, but that could be wrong. Y'all try to be nice tonight. Behave yourselves. Share this. Put it on social media. Help us grow the show and do what we do. Check us out in the morning, theraiderland.com. I think I got me a jalapeno cheeseburger I'm about to have in just a few minutes. Get ready and take in some Texas Tech basketball. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for being a part of Raiderland. Thank all of our great sponsors. Hat Creek Interior Studio, Jackson Brothers Meat Locker in Post, Texas, United Supermarkets all around West Texas and the Metroplex. And of course, for all your insurance needs, Shropshire Insurance of Texas, independent, just like you guys. See you tomorrow, theraiderland.com.